Hello, my name's Liam. We are here today with the Analog Rytm Mark II. Does it hang with drum and bass? Do I hang with drum and bass? I should of course clarify that if you wanted to, you could of course just drop an amen break in here, chop it up and just use that as your drum pattern just fine. That would definitely be more of a traditional way of coming up with a drum and bass drum break. But of course, there are no rules. In the case of this video, we're actually going to be using one shots to come up with drum and bass rhythms. And I actually just came up with one earlier that sounds like this. I personally think that plugging everything in individually is just a great way to understand the intricacy of drum and bass rhythms, just to have a clearer understanding of what drums you want to play on what step and what sort of feeling that gives you in terms of like what one shots to use. There's definitely sounds that fall more into the drum and bass genre. In this video, we're going to be testing the analog sounds from the Analog Rytm and try and recreate something that's similar to this. The Analog Rytm Mark II allows you to replace the analog sounds for digital ones, so we could do that. And actually, just a little fun fact, the TR-909, believe it or not, is actually the most commonly used drum machine in drum and bass rhythm. Of course, if it's not like an acoustically sampled drum set. And of course, I just so happen to have a bunch of 909 one-shots. These are actually from my sample pack, Project 909. Sounds like this. Project 909 is mainly a multi-track bass sample pack, but there are one-shots. These are actually available to Patreon members, and there's a link to my Patreon in the description of this video. Of course, a huge thanks to everyone who's already a member. There's also an affiliate link for the Analog Rytm Mark II in the description. Using that link would be a huge support to this channel, so please do use it. Doesn't cost you anything extra. So let's move to a new pattern. Bring this up to 170 BPM. Nice juicy drum and bass tempo. And we'll start with the kick. My first kick will be on step 1, and let's do step 12 as well. And then we'll go over to hi-hats and just throw down all of the odd steps. So this is like the most basic hi-hat pattern for drum and bass, right? 1, 2, and 2. Okay, and now I want to switch that kick up. Right away, let's add an LFO to this hi-hat to make it different somehow. So I've turned the depth on whatever it is that I'm adding, and we'll just go through. Okay, transient decay is definitely doing something. This is kind of just like my sound palette, but notice that all of these sounds are super sharp. They're very transient heavy. Maybe we could double that snare. We'll add one last element here as like a rhythmic foundation, and then we're going to get into per step parameters, have a lot of fun with that. Let's go to rim, and I'm going to choose even notes because I know that they're, in musical terms, it's called the off 16th notes, these syncopated rhythms that are upbeat, and this is a very drum and bassy sound to go with. So that's our backbone, our foundation. And speaking of like the upbeats, the even notes, let's go to our snare. We're going to add what's called ghost notes on the snare. Okay, so I find that this is a little bit too notey. First of all, let's bring the volume of this one down. And we'll have this one play, let's say, the 4th of 4 times. So it's very subtle. We'll add another one here, so let's copy this, throw this here, and we'll make this one play the 2nd of 2 times. I kind of like this snare fill at the end here on step 15 and 16. But what I'm going to do is break these up a little bit. So have this one play the 4th of 4 times. And this one play the 2nd of 2 times. We're almost getting some reggae flavors with this rhythm. So let me actually break this up to make it a little bit more drum and bass. Step 1 and 7 is cool. And then let's say on the 4th time around, make it play a step on 13 as well. So the whole thing all together. Let's give it a little bit more volume or a bit more drive. What would this sound like with 909 hi-hats? Another cool thing to add to drum and bass is retriggers. So let's go on this step here. And we'll retrigger it to 30-second notes. This one will play the second of 2 times. I'll do a little trick here though. On step 8, I want this to fill in step 9, and this will fill it in the first of 2 times. So we're still getting that 8-note thing happening. We've got an open hi-hat here, so let's throw that right there. And again, I'm going to change this for a sample because I've never really been crazy about the high-end analog sounds. I find that they're a little bit too similar to straight up 808 sounds. They have their place, but they're definitely not my go-to. So let's change this out for an open 909. What would happen if I just triggered this? Ooh, kind of cool, but I want this to play the second of 2 times. Okay, and on the end of that roll, I want something to play on this step. So what will it be? We'll add like a melody, or maybe not melody, but some sort of expression on this tom here. This is playing the first of 2 times. Let's make it play the first of 4 times now. We'll do that same trick again. I always use it. Step 4, bring it to step 3 now, and this will play the third of 4 times. And we'll add some sort of different expression on this one, maybe a different tone altogether. Different tune, I should say. We could also step ram the LFO on this particular step. It's a bit unpredictable, but it's kind of like having a third hand or a hand that's always controlling this. That's what the LFO is for, right? Let's continue that rhythmic idea, or like maybe a question and answer with this tom. And these are sort of an afterthought, these toms. They're not very upfront. Yeah. We could pan these as we want as well. Yeah, this is great. I'm hearing something on this second tom, the mid tom. I want it to be open one time and then close the next time. So we're going to go to that same trig condition trick, the first out of 2 times. It'll play as is. The second of 2 times, which will be this one here. Again, I'm going to micro time it to the next step, and I'm going to open this up. What I mentioned before, making these 2 toms like an afterthought, maybe making them even more of an afterthought by pulling down frequency. If we go back to this first groove, it's different, right? It's just different rhythms. Back to the second one. The only thing that's missing is the bass here. As you can see, the decay is just full blast, so it really does sound like a bass. Let's try to find some sort of bass rhythm we could add into here. 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, and so maybe here. Okay, make this the second of 2 times. Right here. Starting right from the start again, piecing it all together. So kick, snare, rim. So much going on. Clap. Bass, 2, 3, low tom. And then hats. Right, so there's a lot going on here. The question is, does the Analog Rytm Mark II fit in this genre? I'm still not sure. Maybe you guys could let me know. And now, a word from today's sponsor, DistroKid. If you're watching this video, chances are that you'd like to officially release your music to all major streaming platforms. So first off, why choose DistroKid? They are hands down the most affordable music distribution platform in the game. We're talking like just over 20 bucks a year affordable to release unlimited music. And by the way, on top of that, I also have a discount for you linked in the description of this video. You collect 100% of your streaming royalties with DistroKid, another huge plus, and they're designed specifically for independent artists and producers. How, you may ask? ask? Well, here's a list of tools that they offer that will help you with at least some of the heavy lifting when it comes to promoting your own music independently. For example, there's Hyperfollow, which is a free landing page that I've personally been using for years now across all of my social media. It's similar to a Linktree type of situation where you can lead people to specific pages or maybe different social medias. You can post video content, maybe a link to your latest single, and you can create an unlimited amount of landing pages at no extra cost. DistroKid also offers promo cards, another free tool that you could use to promote your music on social media. So many other features, and again, just over $20 a year. To me, it's a no-brainer if you're looking for a music distributor. Well, now you know where to go. Sign up using the discount linked in the description of this video.